Alrighty guys, what's going on? It's Phil here. Today we gotta talk about three notable names that are gone from the AEW roster. We gotta talk about Malakai Black, Ricky Starks, and Miro. Let's get started. Alrighty guys, what's going on? It's Phil here, and I want to talk to you guys about those three major names that are no longer a part of AEW, that being Malakai Black, Miro, and Ricky Starks. And this is absolutely huge for, the world of pro wrestling, because Tony Khan releasing major talents like this is absolutely, something that we don't normally see on a regular basis. And we saw this all happening on Monday afternoon. February 10th, 2025 was the day that these three major talents are no longer going to be a part of AEW, and apparently they're free to sign wherever they may go. But I want to talk to you guys first about Malakai Black, because PW Insider and Fightful Select have done a great job when it comes down to the reporting of this. So let's dive right into Malakai Black. His contract was supposed to be signed well into 2027, as per Tony Khan a couple of years back, but Fightful has reported back in December that Malakai would no longer be a part of AEW and he would be leaving within the coming months. In January, it was reported that he would no longer be utilized on AEW programming. So we all know what Malakai Black meant to AEW at first, right? He started the House of Black with Brody King and Buddy Matthews. Later on, Julia Hart joined on in, and the House of Black was one of my favorite things a part of AEW. I absolutely love the makeup of that group. Brody King and Buddy Matthews are absolute dogs. Now they're known as the Hounds of Hell, along with, Julia Hart. And Malakai Black is no longer a part of AEW. He was a former AEW World Trios champion. The man is an absolute stud in each and every single sense of the word. But now we got to figure out what is going to be happening with Malakai Black now that he is a free agent and he can go wherever he wants to go. I personally do believe that we will be seeing him in WWE. I personally do believe that we will be seeing him on the Friday Night SmackDown brand, because that is where they just moved Zelina Vega, who is his wife. So yeah, this is absolutely huge. Malakai Black is no longer a part of AEW. The run in AEW did not go according to plan, as to, many fans wanted it to, but he did some great stuff over there, but now he is no longer a part of AEW, and it looks like he could be coming back to the WWE within the next coming weeks, months, however long they want to, prolong this for. But I fully expect him to be a part of WWE. Now, when it comes down to Miro and his release from AEW, the writing was on the wall. It was absolutely inevitable at this point, because we haven't seen Miro on AEW programming since World's End 2023, and that is December of that year. So we haven't seen him for well over a year within AEW, and he wanted out. He's been wanting out for quite some time, according to Fightful Select. So Miro has not wrestled since 2023 and has been discussed for potential creative throughout the year. He's healthy and ready to go, and he's been cleared for quite some time, but Fightful reported that he's been asking for his release for quite some time, and we're told the situation had gone radio silent for quite some time as well before the release was made official. Now, apparently, Miro has been brought up by creative over the course of the last 6 months, but, mostly everybody knew and that they spoke to within AEW had expected that he would be leaving for quite some time, and Miro signed a long-term contract extension back in early of 2022 that could have had him well within the company until early 2026. But he is no longer a part of AEW, so we do not have to worry about that. But what is next for the Redeemer? I personally do believe that he will be back in WWE. I don't know what is really going to be happening for Miro and his future. We all knew him in WWE as Rusev from back in the day. Rusev Day was probably one of the most over things at that time period. But if I were WWE, I wouldn't change a single thing about him. I wouldn't change a single thing about this Redeemer gimmick, because the Redeemer gimmick within AEW was absolutely one of the best, if not the best work that Miro has done throughout his entire career in pro wrestling, and I wouldn't change a single thing. So hopefully, if he does make the jump to WWE, if that is going to be the case for him, I want to see him as the Redeemer in WWE. I would not change an absolute single thing about him, because Miro he still has a lot to prove. He still has a lot to bring to the world of pro wrestling, and I feel like him in WWE would be absolutely fantastic, whether that be on Monday Night Raw or whether that be on Friday Night SmackDown within that mid card division of the Intercontinental Championship or the United States Championship. He is an absolute stud. We all know how great of a worker he is, but sometimes when it came down to creative within AEW, it just did not pan out. But we'll see in due time what is going to be next for the Redeemer. I know I wouldn't change a single thing about him and his character in terms of, him being presented on television, but we'll see in due time, and we'll see where Miro ends up next. And finally, let's talk about Ricky Starks, because man, this man has been absolutely through it. Ricky Starks had asked AEW in late 2023 to not pick up his option deal for the coming, months of spring 2024, but AEW did. And they did not use Starks for the majority of that time period. We're told that he was open to still working with AEW throughout the rest of the deal, but Starks had been blocked from working a couple of GCW events, and that was all before the release of Ricky Starks within AEW. His deal would have been out within the last few months anyway, so it looks like they just kind of cut their ties with Ricky Starks, and he is no longer a part of AEW. And honestly, good for him, because Ricky Starks has it all. I really do believe that Ricky Starks is an absolute great young talent within the world of professional wrestling, and I do have him joining the WWE. I really do, but I have him joining the NXT brand because I do believe that NXT Championship title picture is very much well lacking. And I feel like Ricky Starks would just be a plug and play type superstar that you can put in there, and he would absolutely thrive with that NXT division. So, even though I would love to see everybody within, this video, Malakai, Miro, and Ricky all join the main roster, I think Ricky Starks joining the NXT brand is the best spot for him because that roster in NXT is very, very well known, and you have everybody there that can work with Ricky, that can get him acclimated to the WWE roster. And, I think that him being in the NXT title picture would just fit. I personally do believe that if any time would be right to see him on NXT television, it would be right at NXT Vengeance Day. Why don't you guys do something with Ricky Starks at NXT Vengeance Day? Have him join the roster right then and there. I would absolutely love to see it. I think everybody else would absolutely love to see it as well. And Ricky Starks would just be a great plug and play type guy within NXT. Ricky Starks has been through it within AEW, right? I love the man. I think Ricky Starks is an absolute stud, and I really do believe that he will be joining the WWE. It's just a matter of time. But the only thing is that Ricky Starks just has to get acclimated to the WWE landscape. And the only reason why I said that Malakai and Miro would join the main roster rather than Ricky Starks joining the main roster is because Malakai and Miro, they know the WWE system. They know everything about WWE. It's just a new guy running the show now, and that is Triple H. So, Triple H is going to be treating all of these three guys, nicely. All of these three guys very well because he knows Malakai Black and he knows Miro from their time in NXT and the main roster previous, and he knows them. He absolutely knows them. But Ricky Starks, he kind of gotta have a little bit more polishing. It's kind of gotta have a little bit more seasoning, and that NXT roster is a perfect place for him to do that. And he would just be a plug and play type guy within that main title picture for the NXT Championship. So that's where I see him going. I see all of these guys going to the WWE. I just think that Malakai and Miro go to the main roster while Ricky is over there for NXT. And I'm not saying that he would have to be there for long. No, I would say probably about 6 to 8 months. Maybe debut him in the 2026 Royal Rumble for the main roster and get him going for that WrestleMania season, if anything. But yeah, this is huge for AEW. This is huge for the world of pro wrestling as a whole. Miro, Malakai Black, and Ricky Starks are no longer a part of AEW. And that's the latest when it comes down to all of this. But I want to thank you guys so much for all the love and support on the channel over the course of the last few months. We're on the road to 400 subscribers, and I cannot believe that. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support. If you guys want to support me, why don't you guys hit that like button, turn on the bell for all notifications as you subscribe to the channel. That way you guys never miss another upload right here on the YouTube channel. If you guys want to follow me on social media, all the links are down there in the description below. You guys can follow me on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at @PhillyMatt_. And yeah, I'll keep you guys updated in case if anything else happens, within the world of pro wrestling. But we'll see you guys in due time. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.